Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here on part number 7 of our race car, which is the cockpit. You can notice from our assembly drawing that the cockpit headrest area is halfway between the two sides of the vehicle. So we're going to need to figure out a way to produce the profile for this in the middle of the object. There's more than one way to do this, but I'm going to show you how I figured it out. So we're going to go ahead first, before we even, well, first let's go ahead and check out the sketch in the drawings. The drawing tells us what the exact profile of the object is. And we can see in the right side view that it's a uniform thickness, so it's just going to be a matter of drawing the shape and extruding it. You can see that there are 3 straight line segments and 1 arch. All right. Oh, and also that the angles between the line segments are 90 degrees. Let's go ahead and produce that. In this opportunity, we're going to use something a little bit different than we've done in the past. We're going to create a new work plane, different than the original 3 work planes and different than just adding on to the plane of a piece of the solid. We're going to create a new work plane that is not on the face of the solid. The way we're going to do that is we're going to use the mid-plane tool, which will let us identify a new plane parallel to 2 other planes, but halfway between them. And we're going to call that plane the cockpit. And when we look at this object, you can see that I have a new plane created, not a sketch. This is a work plane. We can put sketches, we can add sketches to this, but whenever I toggle our planes on and off, you can see that it's now a new sketch, not a new sketch, a new plane that is included in all of our planes. I'm going to toggle all the planes off. I'm going to hit by hitting P. Of course, to get it back, I just hit the eyeball. I get the cockpit back by itself. Cockpit's sketch plane, work plane back by itself. Now we're going to go ahead and add a new sketch to the cockpit work plane. And we're going to, of course, call that sketch cockpit. And it's time to start sketching. We have entities that we want to use. We're going to go ahead and use that. And we have a bunch of junk in the way. So this can be difficult to draw with a bunch of stuff in the way. So we're actually going to do something real nice and easy. And we're going to turn off everything from the sketch plane towards you. So we're going to go ahead and right click on, I'm going to save that for a moment. Save that for a moment. I'm going to go back to the work plane. We're going to choose section view. I want to hit the green check mark. You see that my work plane has now cut away everything that is between the work plane and us. So that makes it a little bit easier to see what's going on. The cockpit sketch, we'll turn back on, now has a line that we had brought in earlier by clicking the use button, and then we're going to add a new line for the vertical section at the leading edge of the cockpit. And we're going to put another line at the trailing edge of the cockpit, with a vertical line. And then I've got a section of line here I want to get rid of. So we're going to use the trim tool, keyboard shortcut M, to get rid of the extra line. So now we have 1, 2, 3 lines, and it's just a matter of adding the arch. So we're going to use a 3-point arc. The way the 3-point arc works is you click on the first place you want the arc to be, you click on the last place you want the arc to be, and then you move the mouse up and down to identify the curvature of the arc. And that's what it takes to make that shape. Of course, it's not a dimension profile, so we need to put some dimensions on it. Let's head on over here and find out what our dimensions are. First, let's start with the big one, your overall width. The overall width of this object is 1 whole inch, 3/10, 70 thousandths. So 1.370. Go ahead and add a dimension. You tap D on the keyboard or the dimension tool above. I click and release on this vertical section. I'm going to click and release on this vertical section. We'll put the value up there. And we said 1.370 inches in overall width. The next thing is to measure the front and the back. Let's check those dimensions. So the highest measurement was 0.8 hundredths or 8/10 and 0 thousandths. So 8.00 or 0.800. Let's get that height. 0.800 and hit the enter key. Now we just need the height at the other end, which was 0 inches, 0/10, 80 thousandths. So 0.080. That can be a little confusing. The dimension tool. Yeah. Dimension from here to here. There we go. 0.080. Awesome. Now the last dimension we need is the dimension for that arc. And that's a radius. The radius is 2 whole inches, 9/10. That's it. 0 thousandths. 2.900. Right on the line. Give that a dimension. 2.900. Enter. Those are all our dimensions. We're fully constrained. Hit that green check mark. And now it's time to extrude the feature. Just like before, we hit the extrude button at the top of the keyboard or Shift E on the keyboard, and we're going to create that cockpit. And this time we want it to go out in both directions evenly from the sketch we just created. So we're going to go symmetric. And of course, we need to find out how thick to go. 3/10, 10 thousandths, so 0.310. 0.310. Click the region that we want to extrude. And there you have it. Oh, looks like I screwed up and made it part of the same model. No big deal. Double click on the cockpit extrusion, change it from add to new. Now we get a new part. And yep, new part. So add that, rename it. And great job. Oh, wait. How do we get our parts back? Oh, no. All we need to do to go back is go back to the original sketch plane where we did our section view, right click, and turn off the section view. And there it is. At the back of the car created. Awesome. Keep trying, keep being awesome.